Hello and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and here are the latest headlines that we are tracking this hour. Pakistan's tit for tat over espionage asks official working in the Indian High Commission in Islamabad to leave the country immediately. This after India declared Pakistan High Commission staffer persona non grata. Heavy shelling by Pakistan along sensitive 190-kilometer area along border. 2 girls injured. Home Minister asks BSF to give a befitting response. Villagers at the border flee to safer places. Tata Sons accuses former chairman Cyrus Mistry of making malicious allegations. Says he was fully empowered to lead the group. This after Mistry alleged that he was made lame duck chairman. And Diwali comes early for central government employees. The Union Cabinet approves a 2% hike in maintenance allowance with effect from 1st of July this year. Our top story this morning, India and Pakistan are once again embroiled in a diplomatic war after an espionage racket involving a Pakistani High Commission staffer was uncovered in the national capital. Now, India has declared Mahmood Akhtar persona non grata and asked him to leave the country immediately. Now, Pakistan, in an apparent tit-for-tat move, also asked an Indian embassy official working in Islamabad to leave the country immediately. In a tit-for-tat action after Indian police busted an ISI-run spy ring at the Pakistan High Commission in New Delhi, Pakistan also declared an Indian High Commission official as persona non grata and asked him to leave the country within 48 hours. The decision was conveyed to Indian High Commissioner Gautam Bambawale, who was asked to make urgent necessary arrangements for Surjit Singh and his family to leave Pakistan by Saturday. This after India busted a major Pakistani spy ring by arresting 2 Indian spies and a Pakistan High Commission staffer on Thursday. Mahmood Akhtar, who worked in the visa section of the Pakistan High Commission in Delhi, was accused of collecting critical details, including those about deployment of BSF personnel along the Indo-Pak border from 2 other Indian accomplices. Described as the kingpin of the spy ring, Akhtar was carrying a forged Aadhaar card with the alias Mehboob Rajput to assume an Indian identity.
एक एस्पियोनाज रैकेट को बस्ट किया है क्राइम ब्रांच ने और 2 लोग गिरफ्तार हुए हैं। इस एस्पियोनाज रैकेट में पाकिस्तान हाई कमीशन का एक मेंबर किंगपिन था जो इंडियंस को रिक्रूट करता था, स्पाइस को उनसे इंफॉर्मेशन लेके पाकिस्तान हाई कमीशन में देता था और आगे पास ऑन करता था।
The 2 Indian spies, Maulana alias Akhtar and Subhash Jahangir, were also arrested from the Delhi Zoo on Thursday. Both worked for the ISI and passed on information about army movements near the Indo-Pak border. A 4th person, Shoaib, who is a Jodhpur-based passport and visa agent, was detained by the Rajasthan police.
ये सारा जो मॉड्यूल्स है करीब 1.5 साल से एक्टिव था। लास्ट 6 मंथ्स में हमारे पास क्रेडिबल इनपुट्स आ गए थे कि ये लोग पाकिस्तान आईएसआई के लिए जासूसी कर रहे हैं। जो बॉर्डर एरियाज़ हैं वहाँ पे जो हमारे पैरामिलिट्री बीएसएफ का डिप्लॉयमेंट है, आर्मी का डिप्लॉयमेंट है, उसकी सारी जानकारी हासिल करके पाकिस्तान हाई कमीशन में जो पाकिस्तान इंटेलिजेंस ऑपरेटिव था महमूद अख्तर को दे रहे थे।
Taking strong exception to the act of espionage, Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar summoned Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit. He was informed that Mahmood Akhtar is persona non grata and has to leave the country. Akhtar was detained and questioned by the police but was not arrested because he enjoys diplomatic immunity.
The Pakistan High Commission has been informed that Mr. Mahmood Akhtar and his family must return to Pakistan by October 29, that is within 48 hours. The Foreign Secretary also strongly conveyed to the Pakistan High Commissioner that the Pakistan High Commission must ensure that none of its members indulge in activities inimical to India or behave in a manner that is incompatible with their diplomatic status.
The police suspects involvement of more people from the Pakistan High Commission in the espionage ring. Police is also investigating involvement of BSF personnel who leaked information and documents to them. This is Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And heavy exchange of fire continues along the international border between India and Pakistan. Now, Pakistan pounded several areas overnight. 2 girls have been injured in the shelling. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has asked the BSF to give a fitting response. Now, people have been fleeing to safer places from the firing.
Heavy shelling by Pakistan along the line of control and some sectors around it. Pakistan violated ceasefire in the KG sector at around 5 p.m. on Thursday evening. Heavy exchange of fire is still underway in the 190-kilometer area, which is very sensitive.
बहुत बड़ी शेलिंग हो रही है जिसकी आवाज़ हमें रजौरी की तो बात नहीं, दराल से कोई लोगों ने अभी फ़ोन किया कि वहाँ तक इसकी आवाज़ आ रही है। बहुत बड़ी हैवी शेलिंग हो रही है। मैंने अपनी पार्टियाँ भेजी हुई हैं, उधर न्याकापा उधर तरकुंडी में भी एक पार्टी भेजी हुई है, मैं खुद ही आया हूँ। हम इंशाल्लाह तैयार हैं, किसी भी वक्त भी कोई इमरजेंसी होगा हम उसको मीट आउट करने के लिए तैयार हैं। हमारी ये कोशिश है कि सिविल किसी का कोई नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए।
People forced to flee villages, some taking shelter in bunkers.
अब ये इतना जितनी ज़बरदस्त फायरिंग आज हो रही है, इससे पहले कभी भी नहीं हुई। तो लोग अपने घर वगैरह छोड़ के भाग गए हैं। तकरीबन जितना ये सभी गांव जो है ये छोड़ के अपने घर को भागे हैं। कुछ लोग नाले में पत्थरों के नीचे छुप के गुजारा कर रहे हैं और कुछ लोग अपने मकान में जो खुफिया थोड़ी जगह है साइड में उसमें छुपे हुए हैं। मैंने तो अपनी ज़िंदगी में जी पहली बार इतनी ज़बरदस्त फायरिंग देखी है और बहुत ज़्यादा फायरिंग हो रही है और पाकिस्तान की तरफ से पूरे जितनी भी फायरिंग है पूरे हमारे घरों तक नीचे तक आई है जी। और लोग अपने घर छोड़कर नालों के अंदर हो गए हैं या पहाड़ी के नीचे हो गए हैं, तो घर छोड़ने पे मजबूर हो रहे हैं और बच्चे जो है ज़बरदस्त घबराए हुए हैं जी।
शाम से फायरिंग हो रही है, जब से फायरिंग है हम तब से यहाँ छुपे हुए हैं। हमने कुछ खाना पीना नहीं छोड़ा हुआ सब कुछ, और हम स्कूल जाने से बहुत परेशान हैं। स्कूल नहीं जा सकते फायरिंग की वजह से।
Home Minister Rajnath Singh spoke to the BSF DG on the heavy shelling along the LOC and asked him to give a befitting response. All border areas have been put on high alert. On Thursday, another BSF constable succumbed to injuries in Pakistan shelling in Araspura and Arnia sectors. Over 30 border outposts and army posts and 35 civilian hamlets along the IB and LOC in Jammu, Kathua, Rajouri and Poonch districts were targeted by Pakistan on Thursday. 9 civilians were injured in the shelling. BSF troops retaliated strongly, killing 1 Pakistani ranger. Another Pak ranger is also reported to have been injured. In the past 2 days alone, as many as 16 people have been injured in cross-border firing in the Araspura sector. Opposition parties blame the government for not being able to tackle the situation.
After creating provocation, after cross-border firing, after crossing the border, after helping the terrorists to sneak into cross Indian border and sneak into Indian territory, doing all these things consistently and continuously, this is Pakistan's action, hostile and unfriendly action from the Pakistan side. In spite of that, they allege that against India, that is why they summoned the Indian envoy. But the fact remains that government of India is not able to stop this misadventure of Pakistan in our border.
पाकिस्तान लगातार सीज फायर वायलेशन कर रहा है और हमारे कई सिविलियन और बीएसएफ के जवान भी उसमें घायल हुए हैं और उनकी हत्या भी हुई है उनका। तो मैं समझता हूं कि भारत सरकार को हर प्रकार से उसका जवाब देना चाहिए और डिप्लोमेटिक चैनल का भी इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए, उसको छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए।
The BJP, however, claims that Pakistan is being given a befitting reply by the Indian troops.
जिस भाषा में पाकिस्तान समझता है उसमें जवाब दिया जा रहा है। हमारे भी कुछ जवान की शहादत हुई है, लेकिन उससे कड़ा जवाब हमारी तरफ से पाकिस्तान को दिया गया है।
Ever since the army carried out surgical strikes on terror launchpads in POK, over 55 ceasefire violations by Pakistan have taken place. At least 4 people, including 3 security men, have died and more than 25 have been injured. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, former Pakistan President General Pervez Musharraf has described Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar as a terrorist. Now, Musharraf has said that Azhar has been involved in bomb blasts even in Pakistan. But in an interview to a private news channel, Musharraf did not, however, give a clear reply as to why Pakistan has not been asking China to get Azhar declared as an international terrorist by the United Nations. Now, a proposal is pending before the UN Security Council for declaring Azhar as an international terrorist, but China has been blocking it, claiming that there is not enough evidence to prove that he is a terrorist. Now, when asked about the espionage case that was busted in the national capital involving an employee of the Pakistan High Commission, the former Pakistan Army chief initially parried the issue but later said that if it has happened, it must not be encouraged. Musharraf also said that Nawaz Sharif government lacks aggression. And Tata Sons on a Thursday hit out at its former chairman Cyrus Mistry for making what it said were unsubstantiated claims and malicious allegations on the company. The company also rubbished Mistry's claim that he was made a lame duck chairman, saying that Mistry was rather fully empowered to take all the decisions and to lead the company and its companies, but he had overwhelmingly lost the confidence of board members. Tata Sons on Thursday hit out at its former chairman Cyrus Mistry for making what they say is unsubstantiated claims and malicious allegations on the company. They stated that Mistry was fully empowered to lead the group and its companies but had overwhelmingly lost the confidence of board members. Tata said in a statement that Mistry's confidential letter to its board members was made public in an unseemly and undignified manner. It said the correspondence makes unsubstantiated claims and malicious allegations, casting aspersions on the Tata Group, the Tata Sons board and several Tata Group companies and some respected individuals. These will be responded to in an appropriate manner. The company also rubbished Mistry's claims that he was made a lame duck chairman. It said that the company board gives its chairman complete autonomy to manage opportunities and challenges. Also reacting strongly to several allegations made by Mistry in his letter to board members, the company said that it is unforgivable that Mistry has attempted to besmirch the image of the group in the eyes of its employees. Giving an account on why Mistry was replaced, the company said the directors of the Tata Sons board had repeatedly raised queries and concerns on certain business issues, and trustees of the Tata Trust were increasingly getting concerned with the growing trust deficit with Mistry, but these were not being addressed. Meanwhile, responding to Mistry's allegations of fraudulent transactions at AirAsia India, the Aviation Ministry said all issues will be looked into and law of the land will have to be followed in the case of any violation. Tata Group stocks lost ground for the third day on Thursday as well, amid concerns about purported disclosures made by ousted chairman Cyrus Mistry about huge write-down risks at some firms, taking the total market value erosion to over 26,000 crore rupees this week.
Investors has suffered a loss. Their companies have suffered a loss. Institutions had suffered a loss. Now they have to come clean after the investigation, as well as they have to clarify what is the exact point.
Market regulator SEBI and stock exchanges are keeping a close tab on share movement and trading volumes of all the listed companies of the group. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Well, on to some other news. Well, central government employees got an early Diwali gift from the government. Well, the cabinet on Thursday approved a 2% hike in attendance allowance. In other major decisions, the cabinet also approved the setting up of an Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research in Odisha and a digital national academic depository.
एक इंस्टॉलमेंट डियरनेस अलाउंस की केंद्रीय सरकार के कर्मचारियों को और डियरनेस रिलीफ पेंशनर्स को 1 जुलाई 2016 से दी जाए और ये जो रिलीज की गई 1 जुलाई 2016 से ये 2% का रिलीज है.
Finance Minister announced a festival bonanza for the government employees and pensioners. A 2% hike in DNS allowance has been announced with effect from 1st of July 2016. The cabinet also gave its note to establishment of National Academic Depository, establishment and operationalization of new Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research at Berhampur, Odisha, new productivity-linked reward scheme for all major port trusts and dock labour board employees and workers for the years 2015-16 to 2017-18. The cabinet also gave its in-principle approval to recommendations of the Niti Aayog on disinvestment and strategic sale in central public sector units.
In principle, the cabinet approved of the recommendations. With regard to some of the units about which the recommendations were made, it was decided that each case amongst the recommendations would now be brought up separately for consideration after its examination by the Department of Disinvestment and the concerned ministries of the Government of India.
CCA also approved one-time relaxation of mission for integrated development of horticulture, cost norms for implementation of PM's special package of 500 crore for Jammu and Kashmir. It will be used towards restoration of damaged horticulture areas and development of horticulture in the state. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Well, we'll take a very short break. Stay with us.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. Now, the fourth session of the India-Nepal Joint Commission meeting was held in Delhi on Thursday. Well, the meeting was co-chaired by Minister of State for External Affairs M.J. Akbar and Nepal's Minister of Foreign Affairs Prakash Charan Mahat. Well, the political situation in Nepal and ways to speed up implementation of India-sponsored infrastructure projects in the Himalayan nation was the focus of a high-level meeting between the two countries. A comprehensive review of bilateral engagement in diverse areas, including trade and investment, defense and security, border management and infrastructure development was also discussed. Now, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Vikas Swarup said that both sides acknowledged the significant progress made since the last meeting of the Joint Commission in taking forward the bilateral initiatives in areas such as the trade, transit, economic, mutual investment, defense and security, border management, power and water.
The Joint Commission provided an opportunity to review political exchanges and bilateral cooperation in all areas and to provide necessary political guidance for further enhancing the traditionally warm and close relations. Both sides acknowledged the significant progress made since the last meeting of the Joint Commission in taking forward bilateral initiatives in areas such as trade, transit, economic, mutual investments, defense and security, border management, power, water resources, agriculture, cross-border transport facilitation, education, cultural and youth exchanges, tourism, railways, infrastructure development, capacity building, and human resource development, and promotion of people-to-people contacts, among others. The Joint Commission reviewed the progress in projects covered under the lines of credit and agreed to expedite their implementation.
And US law enforcement officials have charged 61 people in an India-based call center scam. Well, the US Justice Department has charged 61 people and entities on Thursday with taking part in a scam involving India-based call centers where agents impersonated Internal Revenue Service, immigration and other federal officials and demanded payments for non-existent debts. Now, the scam had been operating since 2013 and it targeted at least 15,000 people who lost more than $300 million. Now, 20 people were arrested in the United States on Thursday, while 32 individuals and 5 call centers in India have been charged. Now, the US government is approaching India for their arrest and finally extradition. The US has also commended India for helping it in unearthing the multi-billion dollars transnational scam. But according to US officials, the money scammed unlikely went out of the US, but those behind this gained access to the money through Hawala racket.
These crimes took place in the United States, and under our laws, we have jurisdiction over fraud that essentially occurs in the United States, whether the perpetrators are inside or outside the United States. So these people are calling the United States. That by itself would give us jurisdiction. They're taking money from people in the United States. They are engaged in various financial transactions in the United States to get that money back to the scammers. So the bulk of the activity, really all that happens in India, is the calls. and the bulk of the activity that's happening in this case is in the United States.
This multi-agency investigation, which began in 2013, revealed that a transnational criminal organization was operating both here in the United States and overseas in India, making hundreds of millions of dollars. Today, we have arrested individuals in the United States as part of this scheme, and we will continue working with our foreign law enforcement partners to pursue additional people indicted in this case who are in India.
Do not, Americans, let your guard down. Notwithstanding the success of the arrests in this operation, these people are persistent.
And Samajwadi Party leader Amar Singh on Thursday broke his silence on the ongoing tussle within the party. He also expressed disappointment over CM Akhilesh Yadav's comments against him. Singh also dismissed reports which claimed that he was responsible for the alleged tussle between Akhilesh and his uncle Shivpal Yadav. Amar Singh also went on to say that he was ready to be the sacrificial lamb if that would solve the party's problems. Now, Akhilesh has repeatedly blamed Amar Singh for the crisis within the party and has bitterly opposed his reinduction into the party earlier this month.
तो शिवपाल जी को हटा करके जब उन्हें बनाया गया तो उसका भी ठीकरा हमारे सर पर पड़ा था। तो अगर मैं गुनाहगार किसी का हूं तो शिवपाल यादव का हूं कि शिवपाल यादव को हटाकर अखिलेश जी को उत्तर प्रदेश का अध्यक्ष बनाया और बजाय इसके कि शिवपाल जी मुझे गाली देते या मेरा मान मर्दन करते, उन्होंने वर्तमान मुख्यमंत्री जी का समाजवादी कार्यालय में स्वागत किया, अभिवादन किया।
More news from Uttar Pradesh. Well, the Congress has ruled out any grand alliance in a poll-bound state, including with the Samajwadi Party, insisting that Rahul Gandhi wanted to set things right in the state. Now, the Congress party says that it holds SP, BSP and BJP responsible for shifting focus from the issue of development through the politics of division. Now, the remarks are being seen as significant as they come in the backdrop of reports that on Wednesday, 17 Congress MLAs from the state had a meeting with Rahul Gandhi in which they conveyed to him that he should look at forming an alliance with secular forces to fight the assembly polls.
कांग्रेस पार्टी अपनी चुनावी गणित और रणनीति को बखूबी समझती है। श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी और राहुल गांधी जी के नेतृत्व में और प्रदेश कांग्रेस का एक बेहतरीन नेतृत्व जो हमने दिया है, उस नेतृत्व के झंडे के नीचे और हमारी नीतियों के नीचे हम उत्तर प्रदेश में सरकार बनाने की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं।
Well, let's get to some international news. In a major boost for Chinese President Xi Jinping, the Communist Party gave him the title of co-leader on Thursday, putting him on par with past strongmen like Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping. Now, Xi's new core status was declared during a 4-day closed-door meeting of the party's Central Committee, including generals, state industry heads and provincial chiefs. Now, the title marks a significant strengthening of Xi's position ahead of a key party congress next year, at which a new standing committee, the pinnacle of power in China, will be constituted. The once every 5-year Congress will be held in the second half of 2017, and Xi will be looking to stack the standing committee with as many of his own people as possible. Now, since assuming office almost 4 years ago, Xi Jinping has rapidly consolidated power, including spearheading economic reforms and appointing himself as the commander-in-chief of the military. He has also launched the most thorough anti-corruption campaign in decades, gaining wide popularity among Chinese. News from the Middle East. And Islamic State is suffering significant losses in the battle for Mosul. Well, according to US, around 800 to 900 fighters from the Islamic State group have been killed since the offensive began to regain control of Iraq's second largest city. Well, General Joseph Votel, head of the US Central Command, however, added that it was difficult to provide precise figures as IS fighters moved around in small groups and they were trying to melt into the population there. For now, the offensive, launched on 17th of October on 3 fronts, the east, north and south, is concentrating on areas surrounding Mosul. Now, progress has been rapid, but stronger resistance is expected when Iraqi forces try to penetrate IS defense lines and enter the city where the extremists had declared a caliphate in June 2014. Meanwhile, aid workers are warning of a major humanitarian crisis there, with already more than 11,000 in the city displaced since the battle began. Islamic State has been weakened over the past year after intensive US-led bombing and defeats of its opponents. However, as the Mosul battle unfolds, there are fears that Islamic State could become even more entrenched in Syria. And in central Italy, emergency workers are helping thousands of residents who were left homeless by 2 earthquakes that struck overnight on Wednesday. While no deaths have been reported due to the earthquakes, the destruction of buildings, including several historic ones, led people to count the damages. Now, many residents in central Italy had to spend a second night away from homes as aftershocks continued across the area. Authorities are scrambling to come up with a temporary housing, especially with the winter approaching. Now, schools were closed in much of the area on Thursday as a precaution, and a handful of hospitals were also evacuated after suffering damage. The first tremor, measuring a 5.4 on the Richter scale, came near Visso, and the second quake, measuring 6.1 at the same place, came 2 hours later, wiping out buildings and plunging homes into darkness. These come just 2 months after a major quake that killed nearly 300 people hit the same region. Now, Italian Prime Minister on Thursday visited towns hit by quake and said that Italy was stronger than any earthquake.
Ricostruire e ricostruire in modo serio, finalmente, ricostruire con il progetto Casa Italia e con le regole più avanzate possibile. Io sono molto ottimista che riusciremo a farlo, ma prima, un passo alla volta, diamo la vicinanza a questi nostri fratelli.
On to some sports news now. And Rio Olympic silver medalist shuttler PV Sindhu crashed out of the French Open badminton tournament. Now, Sindhu lost to China's He Bingjia 20-22, 17-21 in the second round. She gave a tough fight to the Chinese in the first game before narrowly losing the game 20-22. However, Sindhu completely lost away in the second game, losing it 17-20. Now, this was her recent second early exit from a Super Series tournament following her success in Rio. Sindhu was previously ousted in the second round of the Denmark Open as well. Well, with this, we come to an end of this edition of news, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha TV. Thanks for watching.